What's up everyone, my name is Ryan and you are watching What's Up Ryan. So guys, in this episode I have a very exciting project to share with you all. It is not a new project entirely, but it is considered a startup and it is part of the Huobi Group. So if you all are already very familiar, Huobi Group is one of the largest exchanges in the world, or at least the top 5 at the moment in terms of volume and of course market cap. At the same time also they have an extensive array of products and services. This is not a paid, this is not a sponsored episode whatsoever. It's just that I did a poll recently with regards to passive income. Okay, and I think folks are kind of still clueless about how can you actually generate passive income in this space. Hence, my topic was more on what kind of businesses can we actually achieve this kind of investment, and at the same time, what tokens are going to be able to attribute to us being able to have a solid, sustainable return over time. Now, this is not an easy question to cover because cryptocurrencies are always volatile, and at the same time, in terms of price sustainability, it doesn't usually do very well across periods of time. The only cryptocurrency that kind of has that kind of legacy would be Bitcoin itself. But not many people can actually mine Bitcoin. As of now, you cannot do mining on your own. You have to purchase quite a number of ASIC miners, and obviously you are running a full-fledged multi-million to billion-dollar business if you want to mine Bitcoin, Litecoin, or even Ethereum. So just take note that whatever that is discussed in this video does not serve as financial advice. It is just my personal opinion and my observation of how this business is functioning at the moment, and how I have been actually receiving tokens from from Huobi and Huobi Pool. These are things that I've noticed, and I'm observing this, and maybe perhaps this is something that might be of interest to you as well. So let's get into it, guys. So right now, let me just cover what is the Huobi Pool token. So if you go to the exchange, Huobi is not available for US citizens, so please take note. Obviously this episode, just to give a quick rundown, is not for traders, because traders will not be interested in passive income. They're usually interested in trading and having a higher growth return. This will be a little bit more it will definitely be falling under the long-term investment, because it doesn't to me it's a long-term investment, right? Because based on how the returns are coming back and what Huobi Pool is trying to establish, it's going to be a long game. So very briefly, let me try to explain what Huobi Pool is all about. Now, in terms of this white paper, it clearly states that it wants to be a world-class digital asset production platform. So Huobi is an exchange. It already has its own token called Huobi token. So the Huobi token serves quite a number of things. One, if you are someone who already owns the Huobi token, you are able to do voting for projects, either for Huobi main. That means let's say if you have a certain project that you are planning to support, you understand it, you can vote as a member. Okay, so from there you are also able to use Huobi tokens to purchase memberships to offset your transaction transaction or trading fees. But however, I find that the VIP model is not very attractive for retail investors, and it seems to be more geared or catered for institutional investors, because I noticed that it's a little bit too pricey. So I'm not very fond of that, because unlike its competitor Binance immediately offsets the fees within the account, right? And you don't really need to buy a membership. However, Huobi, on the other hand, is working. It works on a membership, VIP membership model, but I think that has currently been scrapped, and they are working on other business models and different streams of income. Also, the Huobi token, right? if you're holding the Huobi token, that means you're not an investor and you're holding the Huobi token, you are actually able to receive occasional airdrops from various new listings. And in this case, I came across the Huobi pool token while I was holding my Huobi tokens. Okay, it may sound a little bit like, it sounds a bit confusing, but just try to stick with me. So, so as I mentioned, in terms of mining, right, there are quite a number of consensus mechanisms, okay, which is proof of stake, proof of work, delegated proof of stake, and I think there are hybrids, okay, in terms of the production mechanisms right now. So what happened was, when anyone who is a miner, okay, let's say if I'm a miner, okay, so this business was created for miners, but at the same time, if you are someone who is going to be a producer, that means you're a token producer in the market as well, you're planning to produce some tokens, but you need some support from miners. This is the platform to kind of service not only the miners, but companies, blockchain companies that are going to be falling under the category and using the consensus mechanism of POS, POW, DPoS, okay? So this is kind of like it's a service provider, okay? And miners usually have have an issue with cashing out after they mine the tokens, whether is it Bitcoin, Ethereum, or Litecoin. They usually want to sell it off, but they are quite clueless on who should they approach, where should I go and which wallet should I be using, who is the service provider. So Huobi kind of already realized that there was a need and a requirement for this market, and then they created the Huobi pool or Huobi mining pool business. So in this case, this is it. Okay, so you can actually download and read it here, where it says Huobi mining pool provides digital asset producers with a stable, safe, transparent, and open business platform. The services provided by Huobi mining pool covers POW mining, POS mining, DPoS technology export service, among others. So also, they are considered as, because Huobi has a very huge team, right? So they are also able to assist companies on a technical standpoint, because you want to probably create smart contracts and all that. So this business can do that for a company. So yeah, that's one way. Now let's quickly move on to the models, right, or the revenue models, which is something that I've always been very big upon, because when you cannot substantiate your revenue, right, I think any business should be able to do that. Any business, when it's created, apart from its product and services, obviously you need customers. So Huobi being very established, they definitely always will have customers. So this is something where I feel very confident about at least being able to talk about it openly. And you know, I'm someone who has always looked at all these kind of things. So right now, if you look at the profit model, okay, there are a few profit models: handling fee, technical service fee, handling charges for financial products, debts, investment, and other incomes. So these will be the profit, basically how this platform, okay, or the Huobi mining pool business, which is a subsidiary of the Huobi Group, is going to generate revenue. Okay, so that's a very interesting, that's a very, very strong value proposition already. Now, in terms of how Huobi tokens, right, not to digress, but if you are someone who already has Huobi tokens, you notice that every quarter you tend to receive some form of some tokens from Huobi. Now this can either be from the win-win fund, but the win-win fund is actually from 20% of Huobi's revenue, quarterly revenue. So when a company is generating revenue already, right, at least you know, okay, you're gonna get something, right? This is nothing to do with how the token moves up and down on the market, but the distribution is based on the tokens that are available. So how much you have in terms of tokens that you are holding within your Huobi wallet, you will receive a certain amount of tokens every quarter for Huobi. Now, this, on the other hand, is a little bit different. So because I had the Huobi tokens, suddenly they gave this. So apparently 2 billion So hear me out. So there will be a total of 10 billion in terms of supply, okay, total supply. Right now, I think in terms of circulating supply, it's only 1.1 billion. And out of this, there will be a breakdown, okay? So there is a breakdown of the amount of tokens that are going to be distributed. So give me a second. I think it's somewhere here. Okay, so okay, I've probably read it in the, should be the white paper. Okay, yes, okay, okay, sorry guys. So yes, as you can see right here, it states that out of the 10 billion, 20% are airdropped to HT holders, aka myself, right? And then after that, 40% are designated to community incentives of Huobi Mining Pool. That means, you know, they're probably some kind of community incentives, which is not determined, of course not stated here. 10% are used for Hardex private placement, 10% are earmarked as HPT development fund, and 10% are used in private placement, and the remaining 10% are used as incentives for the team, which is okay, right? At the end of the day, there has to be some incentive for the company. You can't be like everything all giving out and then in the end you got nothing. Okay, so yeah, so pretty straightforward. Okay, and then the HPT rights. Okay, so take note, HPT pool tokens are certificates of rights and interest issued by Huobi Mining Pool with its number fixed at 10 billion. So Huobi Mining Pool will airdrop 51% of the income to community builders according to their respective contribution to the community. Such incentives are gradually released to the community through investment and computing mining power. So let me just show you the website as of now. Okay, so this is the huobipool.com website, which is different from the exchange website. Okay, so take note. So it's kind of, okay, when you look at it, right, it was a bit confusing for me, but after that I kind of just gradually looked at it. I'm like, oh, okay, this is how it works. So what happens is that you can do a few things, right? You can actually do hash rate mining, where you know, you can create a account. You go, let's say you want to go and start mining Bitcoin, right? So 1P1, I think this is probably the hash rate that you're going to have to dedicate, and then after that it will help you generate 559 Huobi tokens. Okay, this and then after, if it's BCH, same thing. HPT earnings gives you 439. Then if you are using, now this is the staking, okay, this is called locked mining. So if CMT is basically cyber mount tokens, EOS, Tron, and ONT. So if you're someone who has these tokens already, right, and they are obviously doing nothing, okay, they're obviously doing nothing, what you can do is you can put them into the locked warehouse. So it's quite straightforward. Like, okay, let's say everybody knows EOS. You go to here, and then after that, you kind of lock in 100 to begin. Of course, you can, I think, lock in more, and then there's a 7-day, 30-day, and 60 days, 90 days, right? So from then, based on, yeah, as you can see, based on the number of days that you decide to lock in, right, you get more HP earnings, okay, HPT earnings. So this is up to 3 months, right? So there's a lock-in for 3 months, and if you decide to break the agreement, right, there is going to be a fee that you have to pay for breaking this this so-called deposit. Yeah, so just take note. Other than that, in terms of the whole mechanism is quite simple and straightforward. Now, the good thing is that there's also this super community, but unfortunately, a large part of the forum is all in Mandarin. So it's not like it has, even if you click on the respective communities, right, it's all in Mandarin, right? These forums are all in Mandarin, and these are the discussions of whatever that's being built on EOS, right? So there's a lot of different things that are done with EOS. There's even some new projects like Oracle Chain, Chain Pool, stuff like that. But it's all in Mandarin. That's the thing. So yeah, this is kind of like one way that I've noticed on how one can actually accumulate more of their particular favorite token. This is definitely something to take note of, and yeah, it may not be as sexy, but it's something to consider if you're someone who likes just basically staking, or you like the staking mechanism and you're trying to find more creative ways to generate more tokens instead of trading all the time. Now, this is something that rarely happens in the stock market, right? Because in the stock market, there's only a few ways that you can generate a dividend income. One is through investing in a stock that actually pays dividends. So dividends are usually paid anywhere from quarterly, semi-annually, or yearly even, right? And that's just by buying and holding the stock. And once every quarter, they will declare. And if there's any profits, they will obviously pay out a dividend to your account. Now the next thing is when they do any investments. Okay, so for example, if they do any particular investments, it could be a private equity where if let's say your AI, you invest in a particular project, that project can or a startup, they could potentially say, okay, we are willing to, because you're willing to give me equity financing, this is considered equity financing, we will give you maybe 12% per annum or 20% per annum, depending on what kind of risk you're willing to take and what kind of negotiation. Now that is obviously high level, but it's also considered a form of a dividend payout, right? You're not taking any equity from the company, you're just enjoying a return, but you enjoy a very high interest, okay? Then the last but not least, which is available for both high net worth investors and retail market, is mutual funds, where mutual funds, they will pay out a dividend to you, or in most cases it's called unit trust. So they will pay out it's same thing, either a quarterly dividend, semi-annual dividend, or yearly dividend, something like that. Okay, so that being said, in this space, right, there are many unique scenarios. As you can see for Huobi Pool token, right, you are able to enjoy, the moment you buy Huobi Pool tokens, you get EOS, CMT, and Tron, right? So by holding one token, you're able to enjoy 3. Where most cases, right, there has to be some kind of strategic partnership. Now, airdrops can happen, especially if they are a smart contract platform and they are willing to, and they are able to bring in a project or encourage a project to build on top of them. And then from there, if let's say they want to create some form of marketing, that particular project will usually airdrop to the community or existing investors or whatever, right? So this is something that's very unique to the crypto space. So as the space evolves, investment, these kinds of models, right, distribution models, whether you call it equity distribution or airdrops or whatever, right, they tend to evolve and change. So it's kind of interesting. Yeah, but just take note that this is what's available at the moment in the market, and yeah, you can practically take a look at it. If this is something that was of interest to you, and at the same time you found that this episode was of value, please give it a thumbs up. And last but not least, please subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next episode, guys. See ya.